Welcome back to Elden Ring. In this video we are going to be looking at a continuation of my Mirai's Executioner's Sword build. Recently I put a strength build that revolves around the sword together, and I said that it's crazy because I don't understand the sword fully. I asked for feedback in the comments and there was a lot of comments to help out. So thank you to everyone that left a comment explaining how to make the build a lot better. And what we're going to do in this video is take a look at the build now. There is one thing I cannot get for it, being the Millisense prosthesis talisman. And that's because I'm not in New Game Plus and I chose to assist her. However, we are running the Rotten Winged Sword insignia. But just quickly before we do get into it, if you are not currently subbed to the channel, make sure you do sub, turn notifications on. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. All support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to support me further as a creator, then check out the links in the description. And let's get into it. So we have the Mirai's Executioner's Sword at +9, and in this one we are running the Golden Order Seal in our offhand instead of another weapon. A lot of people in the comments said to run a Seal and use Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. I didn't use any buffs at all in the previous video because that one was more of a basic guide as to how to use it, but also to get a little bit of help as to better understand the weapon and exactly what it's all about, because the damage numbers have been incredibly inconsistent for me. So this time around we're not going to run another great sword in our offhand. We're going to run the Seal, Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength. I'm keeping Mirai's Mask, the Raptor's Black Feathers, even though we're not going to be doing many jumping attacks at all, if any. And now we have the Ritual Sword Talisman. We've got Shard of Alexander, Godfrey Icon, and Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, because I didn't kind of pick up that successive attacks would be good for the weapon. And then in the flask we now have the Magic Shroud in Cracked Tier, because the sword does scale with magic. But we also have a new tier that I didn't have a clue about until I read the comments, and that is the Thorny Cracked tier, which will boost your successive attack power. So that's going to come in really handy. That also lasts for 3 minutes, as well as the Magic Shroud in Cracked tier. And if I remember correctly, I was getting maybe about 7,000 damage on the Giant up in Mountaintops of the Giants. So if we now go over, I did do a brief test. I didn't buff up with Golden Vow or Flame Grant Me Strength, but I did use the Flask of Wondrous Physic just to make sure that I'm dealing extra damage, and it does work. So now it's just testing a couple of different enemies and see what sort of damage numbers we can pull off. So if I drink the flask, and then I use Golden Vow, then switch over and use Flame Grant Me Strength. If we then come over to this guy and there we go. Much better on this sword. Just shy of 20,000 damage. So if we go one more time. There we go. Dead. Almost 20,000 and 6,000 as a follow-up. So a huge thank you to everyone that helped out in the comments. And what we'll do, just to wrap this one up, is we will go to the Isolated Merchant Shack in Caelid, and we'll test out against the dog over there, providing I can actually hit him and not get eaten at the same time. Okay, so we're now at the Isolated Merchant Shack, and what I'm going to do is buff up. With this, I would recommend probably taking off Ritual Sword if you can, and replace it with Millisense prosthesis, because that's going to do a lot better, seeing as with Ritual Sword you need to be at full HP. No, oh, I had to aggro him. I'm not going to be able to time it properly. Maybe. There we go. We actually managed to take him down. We got lucky with it, but we did manage to do it. So, now that I've changed a couple of things around, I've actually found the Thorny Cracked tier. I had absolutely no idea that thing existed, but it does pair nicely with the Rotten Winged Sword insignia, so we could even go and check our previous builds and test them out with the new Cracked tier, because I've got a feeling some of them are going to be much better. And then when I do eventually go through to New Game Plus, I will switch out and I will go against Millicent instead of assisting her, and that way I can get the prosthesis talisman and make the some of the most powerful builds there are. But I would say, providing you have the right build for this, so anything like this with the prosthesis talisman and any extra things you can get for it, I would say this is crazy power. 20,000 damage in one skill use against the giant is really, really good damage numbers. And if you have a look at my strength, it's only 45. So if you've got your strength up to 60, if you've got more dexterity than I've got, if you've got a little bit more arcane, you're going to be able to pull even bigger damage numbers than what I've just shown. But what we're going to do is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.